Hey YouTube, what's going on? Snowflarky's Emos here with another Master Duel deck profile today. I'm bringing my normal stun Master Duel deck. This is a stun deck that uses normal monsters in a different way than my other builds that are mainly using the Phantasm Spiral card. I decided I wanted to try something different and make use of the flawless perfection of the tenyi field spell, which is pretty nice because it makes our non-effect monsters unaffected by monster effects. And of course, it gives us a draw engine because whenever our opponent special summons an effect monster, while we control a non-effect monster, we draw 2 cards. So kind of an interesting trade-off to consider. Phantasm Spiral gives you the token and then the Phantasm Spiral cards, which give you, the trap cards that pop or the ones that negate effect. Or we could try this Flawless Perfection of the tenyi, which doesn't give us tokens but gives us just a generic draw 2 on most turns. And and it worked out decently well, so figured I would just give it a shot. With that, let's get into the card by card. Starting off with our monsters, we are playing 6 different vanilla 4-star monsters with 2000 attack. 2000 attack is the highest attack on a vanilla monster. These 6 monsters are Gene Warped Werewolf, which is just a beast warrior with 2000. Alexandrite, which is a dragon with 2000. Phantom Griffin, which is a winged beast with 2000. Mystery Shell Dragon, which is a worm with 2000. Leotron, which is a Cyberse with 2000. And Shiny Black Sea Squatter, which is an insect with 2000. Now, reason for this mostly is that we're going to be playing the trap card There Can Be Only One, and since there is a plethora of types available for 2000 attack monsters, we might as well make use of every single one that we can. So there's different options too, and to keep in mind. But these are the 6 I'm going with. 6 is the amount I want, because more than that seems to be too many monsters, and that's just something I don't want to deal with. And that's it for the monsters. Next, we're getting into our spells. I'm playing 1 copy of Terraforming. It adds a field spell from our deck to our hand. Our field spell of choice in this build, of course, being Flawless Perfection of the tenyi. All non-effect monsters on your field are unaffected by monster effects. And then once per turn, if your opponent special summons an effect monster, while you control a face-down or non-effect monster, you can draw 2 cards. So having our monsters protected from monster effects is pretty good. And, everybody wants to draw 2 as much as they can. So being able to draw 2 once a turn for special summoning an effect monster, something your opponent is definitely going to be doing in most matchups. Definitely seems good. Gives us more trap cards, so when we've burned our trap cards to stun our opponent out, we have them back to refill on the next turn. So that's pretty sweet. Next, I'm playing some draw power, 2 Card of Demise. Probably going to put this up to 3 and switch Pot of Extravagance down to 2 because Card of Demise is the better card here. We just draw until we have 3 cards in our hand, and then our opponent doesn't take any damage for the rest of the turn. During the end phase, we send the entire hand to the graveyard. That's okay. Most of it's going to be spells and traps, so, we can just set them instead. And we can't special summon the turn we activate this card. We're going to be doing no special summoning in this deck, so we don't got to worry about that. Next, I'm playing 3 Pot of Dualities. Excavate the top 3 cards of the deck, add 1 to the hand, shuffle the rest back. We can't special summon. Good. Gets us a key card that we're looking for. Do we need a monster this turn? Do we want to have a Solemn this turn? Do we need Dimension Guardian because we got Torrential Tributes ready to go? Just things like that. And then next, I'm playing 3 Pot of Extravagance. At the start of main phase 1, banish 3 to 6 random extra deck cards face down, and draw 1 card for every 3. Our extra deck is not being used, so we're happy to just draw cards instead. And last, I'm playing a copy of Fury of Karyushin. Add a Torrential Tribute from the deck to the hand. Then if we control a water monster you control would be destroyed by card effect, you could banish this card from your graveyard instead. So we are going to make use of that because this is Fury of the Karyushin. If you want to play this optimally, I would consider playing Megalo Smasher X, but since Megalo Smasher is the go-to in Phantasm Spiral and I wanted to make this deck different, I've opted against it just to play the different vanillas. Maybe I'll switch Leotron out for it because I don't care about Leotron too much. But for the time being, that is our spell card lineup. Next, we're getting into trap cards, which as you see is a majority of the deck. Given that it's trap cards, I'm playing 1 copy of Fake Trap. Fake Trap is just a nice rare I have in these trap card based decks because when your opponent uses an effect of a spell trap or effect monster to destroy trap cards on the side of the field, we can destroy this card as a substitute for those that are not destroyed. Now we do have to show our opponent that this, that there are trap cards, but that's not bad. So having a fake trap on your field just protects you from Lightning Storm and Harpy's Feather Duster. Now we do have a lot of other ways to stop it, including our 3 Solemn Judgment and 3 Fists of the Unrivaled Tenyi, but 1 extra doesn't hurt. If you think it's overkill, you can swap it out. Next, I'm playing 3 Torrential Tribute. Torrential Tribute is just a super disruptive card. When a monster is summoned, destroy all monsters on the field. So, that's pretty powerful. Destroying monsters on the field is a pretty big deal. Especially in this deck where we're playing cards like Summon Limit. So if they summon 2 cards, we can wipe the field, and then their board is open. Now, of course, our monsters are pretty vulnerable to Torrential Tribute itself, so we got some protection cards in here, including Phantom Knight's Wing, which targets a face-up monster on the field. It gains 500 attack. Also, the first time that target would be destroyed by battle or card effect, it's not. So we can use this to boost our vanilla and protect it from battle. And, of course, just in general, especially because we want to keep it online for flawless perfection of the tenyi, is we got 3 copies of Dimension Guardian, which we target an attack position monster our control, and it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect. So that's nice in general, just because it allows us to use Torrential without losing our monster, but it also just keeps our vanilla monster alive so that we always have a target to be drawing cards off of flawless perfection, and that is very important to winning, because we want to draw cards to refill the cards we used so that we can keep up with the pace of our opponent's faster deck. Next, I'm playing 1 copy of Heavy Storm Duster. Target up 2 spells or traps on the field, destroy them. You cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this card. Master Duel's got a lot more back row decks, so this card comes in a lot more handy. If we use it during our opponent's turn, we don't got to worry about losing our battle phase, but we are only playing 1 because we have 6 copies of Solemn-esque cards in this deck. 3 Solemn Judgment, which when a monster would be summoned or a spell trap is activated, pay half your life points to negate the summon or activation, and if you do, destroy that card. And of course, 3 Fists of the Unrivaled Tenyi. When a spell or trap card or monster effect is activated while you control a face-up non-effect monster, negate the activation. This set card is controlled destroyed by your opponent's card effect. You can special summon a non-effect monster from your extra deck, which we have loaded our extra deck up with. So, we got 6 Solemn-like cards that can just negate cards, and that's very important. It protects our floodgates, stops our opponent from, the Solemns anyway, stop our opponent from sticking a large monster that is stronger than our 2000 attack vanillas. And that's important to keep in mind because sometimes you can get walled by monsters that have more than 2500 attack, assuming you don't get Phantom Knight's wings in the way. And stuff like that. It is worth considering that maybe a copy of Moon Mirror Shield or 2 is important for getting over monsters, but I haven't run into that problem consistently enough, so I have not caved to putting it in yet, but definitely worth considering. Next, I'm running 2 Skill Drain. We're not running effect monsters. We're not hurt by Skill Drain at all. We pay 1,000 life points to negate the effect of face-up monsters on the field while they're on the field. Great card, good effect, works naturally with this deck. It's a shoe-in. Next, Summon Limit. Neither player can summon more than 2 times per turn. Negated summons count toward this limit. So this card is pretty nice because, if we're limiting our opponent's ability to combo, usually they require a few cards to get into a big monster that can wall us off, and Summon Limit can be very disruptive. This is very nice with Torrential Tribute too, because when your opponent summons a second monster, you can play Torrential and then you can chain Summon Limit so that their board is wiped and they won't be summoning anything else, leaving their board open for you to attack. Next, I'm playing 3 copies of Dimension Guardian. Activate this card by targeting a face-up attack position monster you control. Yeah, I already talked about this card. It cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, and of course, the target monster leaves the field, destroy this card. So yep, keeps our targets alive, etc. And of course, I'm playing 3, there can be only 1. One of the win cons of this deck, given that we have monsters of so many types, each player can only control 1 monster of each type. If a player controls 2 or more of the same type, they must send some to the grave so that they control no more than 1 monster of each type. That'll never hurt us because all our vanillas are different types, which is pretty cool. And, our opponents is going to be a lot of the same types. A lot of decks are hard stomped by this card, so it wins games. So that's pretty much it for the trap cards and it for the main deck in general. Like I said, the only thing to name is there is definitely reason, maybe sub out Fake Trap, to throw a copy of Moon Mirror Shield or 2 in this, just so that we don't have to get worried about getting walled off by a big monster. Doesn't happen a ton, but can happen if your opponent can play around right. And that can be pretty punishing. So definitely consider that. Talking about the extra deck real quick, we have just overloaded it with non-effect monsters that we can summon off of Fist of the Unrivaled Tenyi. If it gets destroyed, we're not going to be making any extra deck monsters in this deck build. So let's go over what I got. A Meteor Black Dragon, 3,500 attack dragon, pretty sweet. The Invoked Vanilla, which is a rock monster with 3,000 attack and of course 3,300 defense, is pretty nice too. Master of Oz, one of my favorite cards. I love this goofy koala. 4,200 attack beast, non-effect monster, pretty sweet. Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, the best target for this. 4,500 attack 12-star dragon. Yugioh the Risen, 2,950 reptile XZ, pretty cool. And 3 Berserker the Tenyi, just a 3,000 attack non-effect monster. So definitely pretty cool. We want to have all these targets in here because we are playing Pot of Extravagance. So you know, we want to make sure we always have one to summon off of a destroyed Fist of the Unrivaled Tenyi. And of course, there's not much else going on in the extra deck anyway. So that's pretty much it for the extra deck. So here's a replay to show the deck in action. We are going up against our opponent who's playing a live twin deck. A deck I see quite a bit on Master Duel. It's fairly popular. So, you know, pretty solid matchup. And looking at our starting hand, not the greatest. We don't really want to see multiple vanillas very often. Opening 2 of them is very unlucky since there's 6. And of course the card of Demise and Extravagance are not great because we can't play both on the same turn. And given the 2 monster hand, we're going to be starting with Extravagance. But we got Summon Limit, which is a powerful floodgate. And if we draw into a couple other good things, we'll be in a decent spot. So let's get it going. I'm going to start with the Alexandrite Dragon. I am going to play, set the Extravagance and the Summon Limit, play card of Demise, just get it out. We get a Flawless Perfection of the Tenyi and a Dimension Guardian. That's fine. We're going to play Flawless Perfection, which is fine, and we are going to set Dimension Guardian, and we are going to pass our turn to our opponent. Our opponent's going to start off with the Live Twin spell card. They're going to add their first twin. So Lila's coming out, and that's going to give them kill. And of course, at this point, since they've summoned 2 cards, I can play Summon Limit here, and now they're going to be done summoning this turn. And since they special summon an effect monster, I'm also going to be drawing 2 cards, which is very nice. So I'm going to get my 2 cards, a Terraforming, and there can be only one. That's nice because that's going to be our instant win con against this deck. Phantom Knight's Wing is a decent card to have. I'm going to start the turn by playing Extravagance. We're going to get rid of some cards and draw some cards. No Ash is good to see. I got another normal monster. We're going to play Terraforming to get Flawless Perfection out of the deck. Going to summon my Mystery Shell. Going to go into battle here. Going to get some burn damage, and they're going to get some life point effects because of the Live Twins effects. But that's alright, we're going to remove both them from the field. I am then just going to set the rest of my back row. A Solemn Judgment is nice. They're going to be playing their Evil Twin Challenge, which is going to get both of them back because they're going to summon Key, and then they're going to get Lil. And, you know, that's pretty obnoxious. I got to, right off the draw phase, flip my There Can Only Be One, stick them with the Lila, and of course, you know, that makes them rage out of the game, which is normally how it happens. And so that's kind of how the deck plays. So that is it for my normal stun alternate variant deck. This is just a definitely for fun deck that just utilizes a different way to use the normal monsters and the stun capabilities that they have to just draw cards generically instead of summon the token and get the Phantasm Spiral cards. Definitely the Phantasm Spiral is the more optimal way to play if you're looking for the great success. But when you're in low ranks, this deck can work decently enough. And if you already have a lot of cards like Duality and Extravagance, because you play trap card based decks, it's very cheap to make if you've already invested in some of this stuff. You know, and a lot of these cards carry over to a lot of decks, so you may have them already if you've been playing something with There Can Be Only One. So if you've already have a trap investment, this deck doesn't really cost anything to try out. But that, of course, is only if you've already made the trap card investment. So yeah, it's pretty fun. Definitely probably going to be making room for Moon Mirror Shield. And it's just a cool way to make use of cards like Phantom Griffin. And I just love a lot of these normal monster artworks so much that it is fun to play. So that's it for this deck profile. I appreciate you all checking it out. Let me know what you're doing with normal monsters. I'd love to talk about it in the comments below. And I'll catch you in the next one.